We're going to look at some more options for pivot tables. To do a pivot table, you must have columns with repeating values in them, and we have a column here with repeating values for product. We've got Brazilian, Turkish, and French coffee. In column B here, we've got repeating values for month, January through June, and in column C, we've got repeating values for region, north, south, east, and west. Okay, so if you want to make a pivot table will summarize data where you have repeating values. So you can basically collapse all of the products instead of, I think we've got 72 rows of data here. We have 3 different products. You can collapse that into 3 rows and get the total revenue for each one of those products. You can do the same thing for month and region, and you can combine them as well. So we're going to create a pivot table. We're going to start off with the data, cursor in the data someplace, not in the title, but any place down below in your column headings or in your data. And then we're going to go to our Insert tab, and the first item is Pivot Table. And if you start off with the cursor in the data, Excel is smart enough to figure out where your data is, and we're going to put on a new worksheet so we don't have to do anything here. We're just going to click on OK. Okay, now we've got a blank pivot table. And this area over here is where we're going to build our table. This is the information from our data that we're going to use to build the table. So let's start off with a real simple one. If you know what your table is supposed to look like, if you know you want products in column A and their total revenue in column B, first click on product. It'll appear down here in the rows box, and the products will be listed. Each unique product will be listed here in column A. And then I want revenue for each product, so click on revenue, because that's a number field. Number fields always go in the values box down here, and they always get summed. And so that will appear in column B at the same time as it appears down here in the values box. And it doesn't carry over the formatting, so we are going to format this ourselves. There we go, and now it looks a little bit nicer. Okay, now let's click on month here. And if you click on a text field up here, it always goes in the rows box down here. If you click on a number field up here, it always goes in the values box down here. So we've got 2 other boxes here, but these boxes only get used if you drag something into those boxes. So right now I've got my data by product and then by month. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take month and I'm going to drag it up and drop it in the columns box here. And now what I get is I get the months as column headings instead of as row headings like I had before. So it looks more like a 2-dimensional table than a 1-dimensional list, which is kind of the look that we had before. Also, it just says column labels here, and you can do some filtering here if you want to. So if you don't want to see all of the months, let's just say I just want the first 3 months. I'm going to turn off April, May, and June. Click on OK, and I get January, February, and March. You can do the same thing over here with our row labels. You can select the ones that you want and turn off the check boxes for the ones that you don't want. And for some reason, it does not put your field name here, and my column labels are actually months. So I'll put month in there, and my row labels are product. And so you can change that if you want to, if you think it makes your table a little bit easier to read. Another thing here is we had kind of a wide text value in there before, and I can narrow that if I want to. Also, by default, text fields, in Excel are left aligned, and let's make those right aligned so that they are more directly above the numbers that they describe. Let's go back down here to our lower right hand corner, and in the rows box we got product right now. We can also drag that up to the columns box. When we do, though, we get something that's really pretty ugly. This is really pretty hard to read, I think, and so you don't want nothing in the rows box, I think, and you probably want to limit what you put in the columns box as well. I'm going to drag months back down here now, and so now I've got months going down here, and I've got the products going across the top. And since we changed these around, this is no longer the month column. This is now the product column, and this is now the month column. Okay, so, and if we want, we can do our filtering here. We can do select all, and now we've got all of our months back again, and now all of them appear in column A. Let's make it a little more interesting yet. Let's click on region. Now when I click on region, it always goes in the rows box. It's going to go down here below month. So let's click on region, and now I've got my months going down the side here, And under each month, I've got each region, and then I've got the products going across the top. And you can mix and match these absolutely any way you want to do it. I'm going to drag region up here and drop it under product. And now I've got something that looks like this. That's getting kind of wide. So like I said, you don't want too much stuff up here in the columns box. Let's drag product down there. And so now we've got regions going across the top. We've got our months and our products over here. And the months are still right aligned from before. You might want to go back and like left align the months. Unfortunately, I don't think we can do, let's try and do all of these at the same time, and I just clicked in the wrong spot. So let's work on my eye-hand coordination here and try this again. And now let's try to left align all of them. Okay, and now I think that looks a little bit better. So I've got region across the top. I'm going to drag region down here. I'm going to put months across the top by dragging it up to the columns box. And so you can do it whatever way you think makes the most sense for whatever it is that you're trying to communicate about your data.